Okay, now we're going to insert the fund fund investment strategy along with the fund graph. This is in a table in the template which has no border, so that's why you can see that the two pieces of information are separate from each other. I simply go to my sources, drag the appropriate tag, and with the image, in the case of the image, I rescale. Okay, next up is the table. This is the one which may return multiple values, so I will show you how that works. You remember you created something called fund rate information, and there's the table icon. Simply dragging and dropping will bring up a table which asks you which pieces of information you want included. I've selected all. I now highlight the information and go into table properties just to neaten it up a little bit. I'm going to give it a grid with the color grey. And I'm going to go to the options where I can give it a decent margin as well. What I'm actually aiming to do here is to replicate the example table that I've put into the template file. I'm going to grab the upper markers to bring the table in a little bit, and then that looks pretty similar to me. I'm just going to take that table association line and add it underneath my new automatically generating table, and I can now delete the original table. I'm going to add on the overview documents here. So I go to the end of the document, the end of the template, and I this time choose content sections and choose to add a new content section. This time I'm choosing the mixed equity fund from my fund overviews document library. However, I only want this to appear when somebody has asked for information about the alternative funds. So in other words, I don't want it to appear if they're actually already using the mixed equity fund. I want it to appear if they've chosen either of the other two options. So that's for the mixed equity, and I'm now going to do exactly the same thing for an additional fund. So I go to content sections, add a new section, add new content, and navigate my way to my document library, this time choosing the complete bond fund. I highlight the line, I choose my business rules, ask for a new rule, and I'm going to call this one extra complete bond. And again, I want this to appear when the fund choice is not equal to the complete bond fund. I realise I missed something out here, so I need to edit that particular rule. What I haven't done is I need it only to appear when someone's actually asked to include the additional information. So I select the business rule and choose edit rule. I click add more rule items at the bottom. I select my tag include other information and leave that as equal to yes. I want it to include that document only if someone's ticked the include additional information line. One last thing, I need to click on template settings up in the top left hand corner and make some changes. I'm going to click startup options and choose item added and manual. Then under storage, I'm going to change the name of the document that is generated. In this case, I'm going to call it update 4 and then insert the person's name. I click insert tag and then I can choose from the CRM system the first name, add a space, and then the last name. Alternatively, you can put the business name in here or any other data that you have available on tags. I want to save it to a document library, and I'm going to choose the location options and find that library. In this case, I'm using shared documents. And I can say OK. Just to show you that there is an additional events area where you can call a web service, but we're not going to use that in this particular demo. OK, back in my request doc list, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to create some test cases. so now we can run our tests, and it's as easy as pressing the test template and then choosing one of the lines that you have. As you can see in this example, there is no space between a couple of the words in the first paragraph. My data, my fund summary is grey. The pie chart is far too big. The following table is too large. There's a number of changes that I want to make. So it's your personal preference, but in each of these you can go in and change it so that it works correctly. What I've done here is I've actually put the space into the tag of fund choice. I just need to get it before the H, and you'll see that the space is now between the tag and the H, so that'll work correctly. And again, I'm going to done it down here, so I just need to add it before the F, and there we go. That'll now have a space inserted. The fund investment strategy wording was grey, so I'm now going to change that to black, and I'm going to make that pie chart a little smaller. Okay, I'm not happy with this table, so I'm going to make a couple of changes. The first is I need to put a percentage sign after the numbers that are generated. Okay, I'm now going to go to my signature and I'm going to make that a reasonable size. I'm also going to reduce the font size of my fund manager and my fund choice manager information. Finally, I'm going to take out some additional spaces in my document. Okay, I run the demo again. It's looking much nicer this time. My spaces are correct at the start. My text is the right color. I have my percentage signs in my table. The table is still looking a little big though, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into table properties, and where I set the margin earlier on, I'm going to just reduce that a little bit on the top and bottom. That's better. Okay, I run the test again. And this is the useful part of having a test facility right there in the tool, is that I don't have to go out, I don't have to submit it to any techie guys to generate. I can just press the button and see what will be generated by my template. Okay, so this is looking pretty good. Now I can run my other test cases. Now I have my PS line included even when I haven't asked for additional fund information. So it's been correct. It hasn't included the fund from from the other documents, but actually I need to create a rule that applies to that PS note as well. I'll call this add PS, and I only want it to appear if include other fund information is set to yes. I run that test again. Great, the PS is gone and it's all fitting onto one page. I now run through my other test scenarios. This all seems good. You'll notice that I am missing one piece of fund information, but that's because when we give the demo to customers, we're actually going to add that on as part of the demonstration. Okay, I finished. So I'm now going to shut my document. It's going to ask me to check it in, and I'm going to set it as a major version. I call it ready for demo. This just allows me, when I'm using the version history, to see which version is ready to perform a demo with. And now I do my first test. So I'm going to add an individual item. I enter my information. And you'll see the very first time you do it, an additional column is created. That column will now always be there. You can switch it off with views, but it will show you when your document is being processed. I'm now able to go to my shared documents area, and there is my document. I upload it into Word, and there you go. Congratulations, you've merged your first document with Qorus DocGeneration.